Hello, everyone. I hope and pray that you're doing well. Yesterday morning, a number of people in our church received an email from someone claiming to be me. And the emails began with something like, good morning, so-and-so. Do you have a minute? Joel Ringma, pastor. Followed up with, I'm going to be in a meeting now and I may not be able to talk, so just reply to the email. Now, if anybody answered, the fake Joel Ringma offered this reasonable story as to why the fake Joel Ringma needed you to purchase some gift cards for me, for the fake Joel Ringma. The whole thing deteriorated from there. But as a number of people attested, it seems so real. The person created a real email address, pastor.terracrc@gmail.com. They used a picture of me, I think a decent looking picture of me, probably found on the church website. They addressed each email recipient by name, and they signed using my name, including adding the title pastor. Now, this was reported to me by 6 women in our church, and I suspect there were more that received it. It's not the first time something like this has happened. And so to start, this is kind of a PSA, a public service announcement, to be suspicious of emails from your pastor asking you to buy gift cards. But it's hard to hide my frustration, annoyance at this, because it means that if you receive an email from me, you'll probably be a little bit suspicious, right? Is this the real Joel Ringma or is this the fake Joel Ringma? By the way, if you receive an email from the real Joel Ringma, it's almost always from jringma@hotmail.com. Now, identity theft is nothing new. This is a smaller incidence of it. Canadians lose, in fact, millions and millions of dollars every year because of these kind of identity scams. And I know, of course, that my identity as a person isn't ultimately threatened by such scams. I know I am the real Joel Ringma. The world probably could not handle more than one of me. I know my family cannot handle even just one of me. So, but I digress, of course. And thankfully, as a disciple of Jesus Christ, I know that my identity is found in my baptism. As a follower of Jesus Christ, as a beloved child of Jesus, of God. But that doesn't mean that there aren't some hiccups along the way, because Satan tries to tell us a different fake story, a scam, every day, right? Things like, you're not so good actually, or you aren't really loved, or you're a fraud, you're a loser. All sorts of ways that Satan tells us and invites us into this false story, false narrative. And what Satan does is, I think Satan messes with our identity. And so what we need are reminders of our true identity. Reminders, in our daily walk, so things like devotions, and reminders in our weekly life, so gathering for worship on a regular basis. Reminders that because of what God has done for us in our baptism, and even through the entirety of Jesus' life, death, resurrection, and ascension, that Satan has no power over us. He has no power over our identity. That God's on our side and our identity is secure. Now, sometimes when we're on our own, in a room by ourselves, reading an email, the lies of email scammers, right? And they can feel believable. And also, when we're on our own, the lies of Satan can feel pretty believable. What we need is a community. What we need is a corrective to the false narrative. And what we need is God himself to work in our hearts and minds. Now, I find that there's this Lutheran hymn that reminds me of all the things that are true about my identity because of my baptism. And the third verse of this song talks kind of basically directly at Satan, to Satan, who is, in some ways the ultimate identity thief, and basically tells him to back off. So here it is. Satan, hear this proclamation. I am baptized into Christ. Drop your ugly accusation. I am not so soon enticed. Now to the font I've traveled, all your might has come unraveled, and against your tyranny, God, my Lord, unites with me. The peace of Christ be with you all.